Welcome, I am Sophia, and I will be exploring the topic of gravity. So, you know when you're having fun with your friends and you jump up and down, screaming and laughing? You see that after you're done jumping, you're always going to land back on the ground instead of floating into space. Today, we're going to learn why this happens. It's because of something we call gravity. Gravity is the force that attracts a body towards the center of the earth, or toward any other physical object having mass. In other words, gravity is what pulls everything towards the ground, including you. Without the force of gravity, there would be no life on Earth. Water, animals, you and your friends. Everything would fly off into space. Think of gravity as the invisible glue that is used to prevent us from drifting into space. You can't see it, but it is always there. The first person that studied gravity was an English scientist called Isaac Newton. There is a famous story that explains what made him want to study gravity. You might have heard it. Supposedly, Isaac Newton was hanging out underneath an apple tree, thinking, or maybe he was napping, who knows. While he was there, an apple fell from the tree and landed on his head. And that's when Newton had an aha moment. After the incident, he asked himself, why did the apple fall down to the ground and not up or sideways? He realized that there was a special kind of force acting on all of the objects of the earth, pulling them towards it. This force is now known as gravity. So, when the apple became too heavy for its stem to hold it anymore, the gravitational pull of Earth brought the apple down into Newton's head. After he had studied this force, Newton also realized it doesn't matter how heavy an object is either. Whether you're holding an apple, a tennis ball, a bowling ball, or a feather, if you let go of it, the object is going down. Basically, he determined that what comes up must come down. It's time to do an experiment. You are going to need one sheet of paper and one stuffed animal. You are going to raise your arms as high as you can, and then you're going to let go of the objects in both hands at the same time. You see, both objects fell to the ground, even though one is heavier than the other. And this way, we just proved that what Newton said must be right. But hold on, you might have noticed that in the experiment we just did, one object took more time to fall than the other. So, why do things seem to fall at different speeds on Earth? Well, we already know that all objects have mass. They have a certain amount of matter in them, and when gravity pulls an object, it gives the object weight. Earth also has something called an atmosphere. The gases that make up Earth's atmosphere push against objects as they fall, and the push of the Earth against the falling object causes friction. We call this friction air resistance. So, if we have a hammer and a feather and we let them fall from the same height, the feather's flat, fluffy shape makes it run into more air resistance than the hammer does. This makes it fall more slowly than the hammer. So, in conclusion, the resistance of air pushing against objects is what really affects how fast an object falls. Time for questions. You're going to have 10 seconds to answer each question. What was the name of the English scientist who first studied gravity? A. Albert Einstein, B. Marie Curie, C. Isaac Newton, or D. None of the above. Good job! The right answer is C. What did Isaac Newton determine? A. What comes up must come down. B. We can fly. C. What comes down must come up. Or D. All of the above. Well done! The right answer is A. On Earth, what would fall faster, a hammer or a feather? A. a feather, B, a hammer, C, none, Fantastic! The right answer is B.